Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino. It is still Monday, May 16, 2022. Okay, here's what happened or what did not happen. With regard to the S&P 500 and the overall market, we did not get a follow-through rally after Friday's rally. But I'm not going to sugarcoat this. We need to see how this is going to play out moving forward. The ideal situation would have been a rally today, a follow-through rally again tomorrow, and again a pullback or some kind of a slight sell-off here. But we could not give back all the gains that we made Friday. Well, we haven't really given anything back with regard to the S&P 500. The Nasdaq did fall under pressure. The Dow Jones Industrial Average put on a fractional gain. With regard to the S&P 500, we're talking about a fractional loss, like 0.3%, basically at the flat line, but that doesn't make it any better. In my opinion, we needed to see a follow-through rally. Now, with regard to the S&P 500, we still remain slightly above a support level here. We'll see if we're building a little support or if this is just going to crater through. And, it's going to be interesting to see how this week follows after tomorrow. I mean, there's still fear here in this market. How do we know that? 10-year yield came down, a little bit. 2.9 this morning. When I just looked at it, it was 2.88. The comparative strength of the dollar was slightly lower. Crude oil, are you watching crude oil? Another 3% higher with regard to WTI. It's crazy, and we got some crazy economic news too. So gasoline prices hit a record. Factory activity, I love this. It unexpectedly is weak in May, okay? And then we're getting warnings again about food shortages, skyrocketing energy prices, and this soaring cost of living. None of this, people, none of this is by accident. And you all know that. Anyway, let's just redirect back to this market. Let me cover a few more things. Cryptocurrency is still under some pressure here. Bitcoin around 29,500-ish. Silver caught a nice bid today. Gold got bid higher. Okay. And of course, the story with energy is out of control. And commodities overall out of control, except for, of course, the laggards here for a while. It's just so incredible watching the price action here of gold and silver, which by any measure, however you want to look at it, they are massively suppressed. Beyond anyone's, I think, wildest dreams, and global debt is going to continue to soar out of control. Anyway, look, so again, I am somewhat dismayed about the action here in the market. We were higher earlier. We were down most of the day. Then we got a midday rally, looked okay. And then again, fear took over. Fear is such a strong instrument, and it's utilized to get people to act certain ways. Look at the mainstream media, the propaganda ministries. They use fear at every corner to try to get a reaction out of people, to get them to do something or not do something. It's astonishing to me, but it's really the way it works in this, forever. Fear has been a tool that has been used as a weapon against the masses and since time immemorial, and it's not going to stop today. In fact, it's going to get a lot worse as things progress in their current form, which is pretty freaking bad, but I think that's understandable too. So look, with regard to the debt market, people, we are not seeing anything crazy go on here at all, okay? 10-year yield came down today. It's not spiking. And the coming down of the 10-year yield or the whole curve itself really is not what we need to fear at all. In fact, we're never going to fear a damn thing. Because once you get even the slightest bit afraid, you're going to make a bad choice. You're going to make a bad decision, and it's going to end up costing you in the long run. Don't get rattled, okay? You sit back, you evaluate the situation here, you put things together in your head how you would like them to go. For example, I was really hoping that we would get a rally today. We did not get a rally today. We did almost nothing except for the NASDAQ, which did fall under some pressure. But again, we're going to keep our eyes on all of this. I do not believe for a nanosecond that the Federal Reserve is going to do anything dramatic right now with regard to all the propaganda ministries pushing an aggressive Federal Reserve. Or they're going to be doing this, they're going to do that, they're going to shrink their balance sheet. Bullshit. Okay, I do expect them to nudge the federal funds rate and keep it below the benchmark rate by design. Again, why? So they can continue to create inflation. This is not going to stop. It's going to get worse. So just be ready for it. None of this should surprise you. When we find out that inflation is not waning, it's getting worse, look, you already are aware of this. You also are very aware that another crisis is coming, and the current crises that we are in are going to continue to be prolonged. And more cash is going to be thrown at these things, and you have no say-so. As a matter of fact, you must support it. You must support cash being thrown at every single crisis that comes our way, that they're throwing at us deliberately. You must support it. Because if you don't, you are unpatriotic. You don't care about these people. You don't care about these other people, whoever they may be. It's all for a good cause here. No, all you're seeing here is puppet governments who are being strung along. Again, it's the central banks who are the puppet masters, okay? And they are working in concert right now to bring the global economy and its people to their knees, for the most part, while the 1% and 2%ers reap every bit of reward out of this whole thing, sucking the system completely dry, wealth being transferred from these people right up to the 1%ers. Look, I don't care who's telling you a different story. Whether it's Joe Freak Show Biden or anybody else, they don't give a damn about the middle class or the people at the lower rung. You never hear about those because they're done already. It's all about pushing cash right up to those 1% and 2%ers, fostering this two-tier society that I've been warning about for 10 freaking years, that I've been saying is going to manifest itself. It couldn't be more in our face, people, today. Excuse me. Something in my eye here. But anyway, look, that's the story. Let's just keep our eyes on this. If, in fact, this market sells off tomorrow, and look, if we break through the current support level with regard to the S&P, we're going lower. Look, we are going lower. But again, what does it mean? Are you going to run for the hills? You're going to sell everything? Not every stock goes down. Okay, if you are in some of the positions I have put on my website, traderchoice.net, excluding the banks, obviously, oil and gas producers have been taking off. And they've basically made up for all of the unrealized losses with regard to the bank positions, which you need to have, in my view here. I sincerely believe these are going to pay off down the line here, and you get a nice fat dividend out of it as well. You need to be exposed to some consumer staples. Again, I have the ticker symbols on my website. I hope you're taking advantage of that. You need to be taking advantage of at least one exchange traded fund or ETF that will give you exposure to commodities in this environment here. PDBC is one I have recommended. I own it. It's done extremely well. So, look, like I have said to you, if you look at your entire portfolio in aggregate, I'm not just talking about stocks. I'm talking about everything that you may own. If you're invested in real estate, or invested in classic cars, or invested in musical instruments and artwork and cryptocurrencies and all that, it's all part of the same thing. All right. Not your entire portfolio is not all going to perform to the upside or downside all the same. It's going to be kind of like this for a while. You got to be used to that. You should, in my view, never be a one-trick pony. All exposed on one end. You got to have yourself somewhat spread out as a hedge. You know that. the biggest hedge on the planet Earth, though, to me, people, is to continue to bet against the debt and become your own central bank. I've never, ever wavered from this since day one. I started explaining to people they need to be, in anti-debt units, in units of wealth, in this global environment of surging debt, and it can't stop. That's the nature of the beast. And no matter what system they want to throw at us down the line, if you have hard assets in your portfolio, again, you can't be all in on anything, even these things, but you need to have exposure to these things. Physical silver remains my favorite of all time, my all-time favorite asset. I mean, like I always tell you, do a little homework here. Look at the Dow gold ratio, gold silver ratio, and you will see why I believe till this day that silver, physical silver, is the best hedge against anything. It's the most undervalued asset ever. So anyway, look, I hope you take at least that away from this particular video. So in summary here, real quick, bad economic news. Imagine my surprise. Oh, it's unexpected that factory activity, is very weak in May. No one expected that. How about you? Of course you did, because our economy is in free fall. Our economy is in collapse, and this is not just a phenomenon here in the United States. This is, again, central banks fulfilling their end game, to be the lenders and buyers of last resort, to own it all. And they're not going to stop, in my view. With regard to this market, keep your eyes on the debt market, on the 10-year yield. Let's see where this goes moving forward. It's pretty much that simple here. We all were gleeful and happy since when? Since for years, as this market has gone virtually straight up. Now all of a sudden it's gone down for since January, and everyone's ready to throw in the towel. I think that's a bad way to invest it, especially for the long run. There are opportunities here. There are deals to be made, period. That's my take, and I'm not going to sway. All right, with that said, people, look, that's it. Important video. Please comment. Let me know what you think. And, I'll see you in the morning.